It is an ordinary thing for all of us to see that the seeds sprout out of the soil. In fact, it is not an ordinary thing at all. A great astonishing miracle takes place during the growth of the seed. The tiny seed, which weighs only a few grams in the soil, does not have any difficulty in piercing the kilos of soil above it and going up. The only purpose of the seed is to go above the soil and reach the light. The germinated seeds act with their thin stems as if there is no soil on them and move toward the sunlight easily, as if they are moving in an empty place. Despite gravity and the great weight on them, the seeds ignore all the rules of physics and come out of the soil. They are determined to reach daylight. Interesting results have been obtained in various experiments made to prevent the seed from reaching daylight. The seed succeeded in reaching daylight by producing shoots long enough to circumvent all obstacles placed above it or by forming pressure where they grew. Besides, when the soil decomposes its contents, it never damages those small seeds and thin roots. And on the contrary, the seeds and roots develop constantly and grow. As the seed sprouts and comes out of the soil, it always comes upright. The seed acts against gravity while doing so. Roots move down inside the soil, moving in accordance with gravity. How do two organs of the same plant manage to grow in opposite directions in the dark soil? There are two kinds of stimuli that direct growth in plants: light and gravity. The first root and sprout from the seed are equipped with systems that are very sensitive to those two kinds of stimuli. There are cells that sense gravity signals in the roots of the sprouting plant. There are cells sensitive to light on the stem part rising upward. Thus, the roots move down under the soil, and the stem moves up, that is, toward the daylight. Those two kinds of stimuli also allow the roots and the shoot to correct the direction of growth if they move in a different direction instead of moving vertically. Now we ask those who try to attribute the existence of the seed and those miraculous states in the seed to causes and coincidence or chance. Number 1. First of all, there was no seed. Who is the owner of the will that preferred the existence of the seed to its non-existence? 2. Who is the owner of the infinite knowledge that writes thousands of pieces of information within the seed, like all the structural features of the plant that will form in the future? 3. Who decides which ones of the cells in the seed will function in the roots and which ones in the sprout? And who drives them to those parts and makes them move? 4. Who determines the time when the cells in the seed begin to transform and shows them the direction they will follow? 5. Why does the soil that decomposes its content not damage the seeds, fine roots, and the stem? 6. Who puts the cells that sense gravity signals within the roots of the plant and make them move down into the soil? 7. Who places the photosensitive cells in the seed sprouting and rising stem, and who makes them move toward the daylight by overcoming all obstacles? 8. Making a decision and implementing it necessitates several attributes like making a choice, knowledge, will, and power. How does the seed that is deprived of those attributes perform those tasks without any mistakes? 9. Those miraculous states of the seed show Allah, who has infinite knowledge, will, and power, behind the scenes very clearly. Then is it possible to say that all this work happens on its own and by chance? So, it is possible to deny Allah by accepting that the seeds and causes have infinite knowledge, will, and power. In other words, to accept that there is infinite knowledge, will, and power in unconscious, ignorant, and will-less seeds and causes. That is the tragic result of denying Allah. If those who deny Allah can justly see what they accept with this denial, they will see what a terrible mistake they make, and they will realize how baseless and unsolvable contradictions the idea they advocate contains.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna Allah faliqul habbi wan nawa. يخرج الحي من الميت ومخرج الميت من الحي ذلكم الله فأنى تؤفكون